This is a bit... Surprise! Ha! Synopsis.
Surprise and no. Damien. Fuck you.
Surprise Synopses
Is a show where we...
Do a thing with a thing and we make a podcast out of a thing.
Oh, very specific. We take a trope out of a hat.
Yep.
And take a genre out of a different hat.
Yep.
And blend them together to make a synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
And we never take the piss out of anyone.
No. We're very respectful to Harley.
Ever.
If I go for a 10th counselling session, I get the 11th free.
And then my one was Spirates.
I like Spirates.
Okay.
Get in there. Put your fist in it and just fist away.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so I'm pulling the trope for this evening's session. Oh, hang on, I've got two.
How dare.
Okay, it's one of Harley's... What do you want to call these? Like, very formal ones.
I'm helping.
Okay.
Okay. Deal with the devil. Alex, you paying attention?
Yes,
in class?
I am.
The protagonist wants something so much that they'll make a deal with someone they really shouldn't to get it. E.g., The Little Mermaid, and also a bunch of episodes of Supernatural, which I haven't seen. But
Oh, well, it happens in a bunch of Supernatural episodes.
They make deals they shouldn't make.
Especially with the devil. In Supernatural, there's specifically a crossroads demon. So you bury some shit at a crossroads, the crossroad demon shows up and makes you a deal. Like, I want to be the best guitar player ever. Okay, just cost your soul. Nothing important or anything. And the guy's like, yep, deal. Done.
They do have The Big Short. They make a bunch of deals they shouldn't. But they're mostly financial ones. Cool. What other films have deal with the devil style things?
I can't think of any others. I was just impressed. I figured out The Little Mermaid was one.
Yeah, it is. Devil's Advocate is one for sure.
What's that one where he like
Devil Wears
makes
Prada?
the TV?
He
makes
naming
the
devil things.
and the dog gets
The devil
skinned.
went down to
What's the one with the dog?
Georgia?
No. And he has the it's like a big movie. It's like he has the shop, and they like buy something, but it's like they get something negative back.
Needful Things. The Stephen King thing.
Is it called Needful Things?
That's the parody in Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah. But that
There's a shop that sells cursed items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's also like deal with the devil can be like mafia can come into that, right? Like if you need money or you need something, you like take out a loan from the mob or you get them to deal with it, and then they comes back to haunt you.
It can also be known as a Faustian bargain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just dropping some knowledge bombs. Boom.
I feel like there should be tons of films that spring to mind
Yeah.
about that.
I have no idea.
That must be a really, really common thing.
I feel like there'd be a lot of movies where it's like deal with the devil, but it's not really the devil. It's like deal with the bad.
Doesn't have to literally be the devil.
Someone who like can take over your life.
Yeah, that's
by
why I
doing this
wrote
deal.
like they make a deal with someone they really shouldn't.
Yeah.
Little
Mermaid's a good one. I'm very excited to see that new reboot.
The remake, yeah.
Yeah, they just announced the Ariel
And everyone thinks
casting.
it's Halle Berry. That's so funny.
Yeah. Well, the name's really similar, right?
Yeah, it's super similar. Because I first did it, I'm like, that's not right. I'm like, that's not how you spell Berry.
She's not culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, how can mermaids be black?
Yeah, I know. What a hate. I'm like, just dye her hair red. Put a wig on. Like, Jesus, it's not the biggest deal.
Also, like, mermaid is a fish person.
Yeah.
Also, they don't really get a lot of sunlight down there, so they wouldn't be so white, would they?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't sunlight make you, like, darker, isn't it? Sunlight is what
Also,
skin.
Well,
whiteness is from not having sun.
No.
Yeah, you're not needing the melanin. But she lives, like, seemingly in, like, kind of like a low coral, like, kind of 12 to 15 meter banding. Like, the types of fish that she's hanging out with in Little Mermaid and the types of, like, coral environments seem to suggest that
crabs aren't really deep sea divers, are they?
Well, crabs can be deep sea, but like
I haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
And I'm not an ichthyologist. I can't help you here.
Yeah.
All I care is that her hair is red. Yeah. That's Ariel. And her tail is green and her bra is purple.
That's the rules.
That's Ariel.
The top bit of the mermaid is a human. Black people are a type of human, so it's like we're done, right? That's
we live in a 20.
I don't think anyone actually cares that she's black.
What a sentence.
Well, where's the lie?
Big yikes.
And also it unlocks Terry Crews to be the father, so...
Oh my god, if he's not, I'm not.
Give me a hell
Right?
yeah on
I
that.
know, when I saw that, I'm like, please, yes.
Like, once I realized that that's what that unlocked,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, actually, I'm... for this.
And what's that guy that eats food? He's like got the blonde tips in his hair.
Guy Fieri?
Yeah, they've been like making a joke that he should be Ursula, and I'm like, kind of living for it.
Yeah, the Ursula casting is going to be really crucial.
Yeah, I'm not 100% no on that.
Diners, drives, and Faustian bargains with me, Guy Fieri.
Ferrero Rocher.
Ferrari Rocher.
Okay, Harley's going first
Okay,
because
sure.
he hasn't gone first yet.
I thought I went first. Or maybe I went second first.
I went first.
Oh, okay. But Damien, that wasn't a previous episode. You don't remember anything that happened in a previous episode.
So that's true. Well, it's time for your Firstian bargain.
Boom. Parody. Oh boy.
Oh, jeez.
Heckaroo.
So I get a parody of A Deal with the Devil. Alright, so it starts... Our intro is the fiddle fight from The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And as you all know, the devil lost. And Johnny gets the golden fiddle or whatnot.
Yep.
He fought the law and the
Law won. And
Not the song, but points for trying.
What is it then?
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking
For a soul to steal.
He was way behind, so he was willing to...
That's a completely
Fine.
different song. I'm confused already.
that's the song I'm referencing.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't.
So the devil goes back to hell, and all these demons are like, what happened to you, man? One demon even like spits fire at him. He's like, get out of here. And so the devil is really down on his luck, and he's just not having a good time of it. So he's like, you know what? Fuck hell. It's too hot in here anyway. I need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes where... And here's where we stop for food. And we're back. So the devil lost his deal in Georgia, and he's bumming around hell all sad like, and demons are spitting on him. So you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going to Europe. Devil's going on a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Going to Monaco?
No. So the devil puts on his human disguise and goes down to Paris and starts doing all the tourist shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he's feeling like really unfulfilled by it all until late one night in a bar, a cute young guy sidles up to him and they start striking up a traveler's romance. And they start, then we get a montage of them traveling around Europe, and loving it up and seeing all the sights, getting to know each other. And towards the end, the devil's like, this has been great, but, I've got responsibilities, And the other guy's like, you know what?
Are you making gay devilish? Are you making gay a sin?
No.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the devil's like a man, right?
Yeah. No,
So-
they fucked.
Yeah.
They straight up fucked. But, no, gay's not a sin, Alex.
Well, you're making... The devil's doing it?
The devil's doing the dirty deeds, but the devil ain't sinning.
So devil can do things that it ain't sinning?
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, walking ain't sinning, and the devil still walks places.
Strutting's a bit of a sin.
Walking on goat legs is probably a sin.
So
Goats do it.
he's like, I can, you know what? Let's make a deal, and I'll absolve you of all your responsibilities.
Does this other guy know he's the devil?
To us, it doesn't look like he's aware of it at all.
Mhm.
It looks like he's genuinely offering him a.
Mhm.
He's like, you know what? Let's switch places. Let's make a deal. I'll do your job for a week, and you do my job. And the devil's like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? Fine. Spits on his hand. They shake hands, and then that's when the other guy rips off his mask, and it's Jesus.
What?
And he's like, ha ha ha, you've done fucked up, devil. And he boops the devil in the nose. And the devil falls through a time vortex into turn of the BC Jerusalem. And the devil sort of ends up reluctantly playing the part of Jesus, even though it's like, guys, I'm not Jesus. I'm Lucifer Morningstar. And like, ha ha ha, good joke, Jesus. We know you ain't the devil. You're our Lord and Savior. Meanwhile, Jesus puts on a new mask of the devil, gets back to hell, and it's like, haha, I'm the devil, I can do what I want. Then he gets into the office of the devil, like at the top of hell, and he like puts on a headset, and it's like, God, I'm in. I'm here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so Jesus starts dismantling hell.
Ooh.
And then the devil...
Man,
Damn, Jesus.
that is quite a honey trap. Satan got honey dicked.
And then the devil's like, wait, I know how to beat this bastard Jesus. So right before he's going to be crucified, the devil just, instead of like the dinner that they all have,
Brunch.
a night of debauchery, the devil commits as many sins. He's going for the all-time record in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And he ensures that his soul is going to hell.
Sure. But it wouldn't otherwise?
Well, he's trying to like make sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the devil. He does what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So the devil sends it up, and he gets crucified, and days later, or however the Jesus parable actually goes, he ends up in hell. Now, hell and heaven are sort of timeless places. So when
if Satan was... No, and you know what? Just continue. I'll go at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Satan ends up in
just bookmarking this part.
in hell, and Jesus like, oh, a new arrival. And Satan kicks down the door and is like, what up, bitches? It's me. I'm the real Satan. That's Jesus Christ. And all the devils who are still left are like, what? And Jesus is like, haha, you're too late. I've already dismantled hell. And Satan's like, your plan is dumb. Without hell, there's no balance, and humans can't have free will. That whole shit your dad believes that don't work without me, baby. And Jesus is like, oh, you don't see, do you? Dad's not in charge anymore. I killed him.
Ooh, Jesus is a naughty boy.
And so
Kills
Jesus
God,
is
fucks
like,
Satan. It's classic Jesus.
and Jesus is like, well, you should have made a deal with me. And Satan's like, oh, I know what you did, buddy, but you made a deal with the devil. And the devil pulls his hands out from behind his back, and his fingers are crossed.
Classic grade 5 move.
A deal's a deal.
No backsies.
A deal's a deal, even with a dirty dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets Satan out of the bind. Jesus is ejected from hell. And then God's soul arrives in hell
So
minutes
should it have
later.
just automatically not worked if his fingers were crossed?
Not for narrative convenience, it doesn't.
Okay.
And God's soul shows up in hell. And then God's like, why am I here? And Satan's like, do you know how many kids with cancer there are, you dickhead? I'm letting you go out of hell, but you owe me one. And God's like, okay. So
Here we go. Harley's politics coming into it.
Yeah.
Satan yeets God back to heaven, and the movie ends.
Oh, like when the meme's like, God finally answered child with cancer's prayer for saving him. And God's answer is no.
Oh, that's dark. Yep, so that's the movie. It's a parody of the Faustian bargain where Jesus makes a deal with the devil, so the devil makes a deal with someone else. Yada, yada, yada. Parody of Catholicism or whatever bullshit. And all right, Damien, do the thing where you rip me to shreds because you have nothing better to do.
Oh, well.
When you say it like that, I guess you'll have to.
That's pre-negging my criticism. No, I was going to bring a kind of point of order, but then it got kind of less orderly as it went on. So I was like, I just feel like it's not even...
What was it?
Because
Because the listeners are going to be bugged now that you're not going to say it.
All 6 of them.
something to do with having Jesus... if Satan took the place of Jesus and the Last Supper and stuff, couldn't Satan be like, okay, well, I may as well make the best of the situation and rewrite sections of the Bible? Surely that really alters things. If he's and then Jesus threw some kind of pretty hot orgy, I guess.
Well, that's why I was with the sort of the reluctantly takes place, because even though he doesn't want to, he's sort of been corralled by history into, and history's written by the winners or whatever, so they wrote down Jesus as Jesus would want to be written down, not necessarily how it actually went.
Mm-hmm.
So yep, that's my parody deal with the devil. Sure. Deal with it.
That was really quick.
Yeah, that's the quickest you've ever done.
Well, I had a solid idea of...
That's what she said.
I had a fully formed idea in my head. So I'm like, yep, I know where this is going for me. Let's just get through it before someone points out how little I remember about how Catholicism works.
Jesusism.
So Alex, you're going next, apparently.
I am. Have you already gone yet?
No.
Oh, yikes. Okay. So I have Deal with the Devil. Can you guess what my thing is? Medical drama.
The most exciting of all
You
the
have to
dramas.
put that back in when you're done.
Just in case he gets it.
What?
What?
Never mind.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm going to do a little kid is sick with like a what's the illness it's called where they're going to die?
Lymphoma?
Cancer.
Terminal illness?
Terminal illness. There we go. Terminal.
Do you want the name of a pediatric brain cancer?
I get unless do you have one off the top of your head? Yeah.
Oligodendroglioma.
Ugh.
Okay, sure that.
Bit of a tongue twister.
You okay?
Yeah.
I only know that because that's what the kid in the first season of Case Notes had. I can make noises too.
It has to have relevance. Okay, so the kid has
Oligodendroglioma.
A terminal illness?
yes, both of those.
Uh-huh.
And
He has
The parents-
Goma. It's terminal.
yikes.
That is kind
Nailed
of the
it.
important part, isn't it?
Yep.
And the parents have one older daughter and one younger son.
Mm.
And this is the middle son.
Yep.
And the parents are just like at their wits' end, like trying to like look after these little kids. And like he's only like 5, so the youngest one is, too young to understand. The oldest one is
Where are we right now? Are we in America?
modern time.
Yep.
Modern time. So modern technologies for medicine, but this is, I'm guessing, not necessarily curable if it's the brain, didn't you say?
Yeah, it's a brain. When it really hooks in there, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah. So it's like a brain thing. Like they got it like medium to late, so it's like not a super chance of getting rid of it.
Big yikes.
Yeah. Big old yikeroony is what the doctor said
Big
when they
mood.
first told him.
Yeah, big oof.
The surgeon
Yeah.
came in going just oofed, 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 oofed.
Yeah. Surgeon press F.
The pre-mortem press F.
All right, I'm going to name some people this time.
Oh, shit.
So the middle kid's going to be called Daniel. The main kid's going to be called Daniel.
Daniel, yep.
The youngest one is going to be called
Nathaniel.
Ryan.
Mhm.
And the oldest girl is going to be called...
Gary.
It's a girl, Annabelle.
Glenn.
So Annabelle, Daniel, and then Ryan.
Mhm.
And so the parents... So the oldest daughter's become very reclusive because she's like, oh, my parents are like busy. I need to be just quiet and silent. The littlest one doesn't understand what's going on.
Yep.
And the middle one's very, very sick.
Yep.
So the parents are like sort of at their wits' end, like devastated, obviously, but also trying to keep their other 2 children's life as normal as possible. Like it's very difficult. They're talking to the doctors, and there's sort of like not really much they can do. There's some like possible random therapies, like therapies and
Experimental fringe
experimental therapies, yeah, that they can try.
drugs. New studies.
Yeah, so they're like trying one of those that they thought was like the most likely. And one night the mum's gone home with the 2 little kids, and the dad's like asleep with Daniel
Yeah.
at the hospital, and he's like woken up to like some weird noises in the hallway. And he walks out, and he's walking down the hallway, and a doctor comes out of another room and is like, oh, Mr. Stevens, like, I didn't see you there. I was hoping to meet with you. I wanted to talk to you about another experimental thing that we actually wanted to talk to you about. And he's like, what is it? And he's like, well, it's almost guaranteed to cure him, but the only issue is it's very experimental. It's really not even allowed in this hospital. They're only doing it in Australia and some other country, because we're in America now, because that's the only place they make movies. They're only doing it in America, England, and Canada. It's not accepted in America yet, because this is a twisted backwards thing of what medicine normally happens as. And he's like, what is it? Like, just like, let us do it. He's like, okay, I'll do it with you, but you cannot tell your family. You cannot tell any other members of the staff. And it's going to come at a cost. And he's like, what's the cost? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you that now. Don't worry about it. Shut up!
Oh,
Jesus, Damien.
Yeah,
Way to
but-
spoil
He's
the
like,
movie for
I'll
me.
like,
No,
I was
I'll,
listening to that.
I'll need a favor from you. Or it's going to come at a cost to you, but like, that'll come in time. Like, don't worry about that yet. Like, if
it's
you're
kind of like
willing,
an afterpay situation.
yeah, he's like, if you're willing to come at this cost, like, I'm gonna do it. And the dad's just, like, also like super sort of tired, and
He's got
like,
his
it's
pen
sort of
out. Where do I
weird. Like the
sign?
hallway feels a bit weird, and he's like, sort of, yeah, he only just woke up. He's like, I'll do it. Like that sounds amazing. And he's like, all right. He's never seen this. It's not the same doctor as earlier. It's a different doctor. He's this like experimental doctor. And he's like, all right, then it's done. I'll see you again soon. Like, goodbye. And he just like walks down the hallway and he goes back to his kid's room and he's like holding him. He's like, did you hear that, Daniel? Like you're gonna be fine. Like we've fixed you. And he like goes back to sleep with his kid like a lot happier. And in the morning, his wife and the 2 kids come, and Daniel's still the same at this point. He's like a lot happier, and the mum's like, "What's up with you? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "I've spoken to a doctor." Like, and then he's like, realized, "Oh, I couldn't say anything." He's like, "I've just got a really good feeling they're saying like things are working. Like, it should be getting better over this time." And that night, the mum's like, "Do you want me to stay here with Daniel?" He's like, "No, go home with the kids." And he like gives like the kids like equal loving, like he loves both of them still, and they go home with the mum. And that night the doctor comes back and he's like, all right, like, are you ready to do this? You understand, like, if me doing this, I need something in return. And he's like sort of like just so excited. He's like, yeah, whatever, like just like let me like save Daniel. And he's like, all right then. And he sort of like just pulls sort of light out of the air and like Daniel wakes up and he's like fine, like because he was in like an induced coma, I'm guessing, something like that.
He was in a medical
and he's
thing.
like, yeah, he's like, Daniel, like, thank you. And he's like hugging him and he's like, Dad, like you saved me or whatever, like just, oh Dad, and like hugs him and stuff.
The headaches are gone.
And he like turns around, the doctor's gone. And he's like, that's so weird. And like he's like hugging his kid and he sort of like gets up in the bed and he's like spooning his kid, like hugging him, and they like go to sleep together, like all happy. And he wakes up in the morning to his phone ringing and it's his wife calling like in hysterics, and he's like, Ryan's not waking up. Ryan's like, I can't wake Ryan up. He won't do anything. And the dad's like, oh my God, like just wait there, I'll come over. And so he's like, Daniel, I'm sorry, you gotta stay here, talk to the nurse. And the nurse is in like, what the hell? This is like an amazing miracle. Like, and he's like, I've got to go, I'm leaving. And he like rushes back home, and Ryan's like comatose in his bed, and he's like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? She's like, I don't understand. Like, there's paramedics there already, and they're like, he's like Ryan, wake up. He's like, what is going on? And they're like, we don't know, sir. Like, this is insane. Like, and they're like putting IV drips in him or something, or doing stuff. I'm not a paramedic.
Medical things happen.
Yeah, medical things are dripping in and dropping out.
Yep.
And sort of the mum walks out. They're like, please give us some room. Like, or like, can you help us clear this doorway to get the stretcher in? And they're like, okay. And then she like takes the door out of the room, and the paramedic goes with him. And he's like with Ryan, and he's like, oh my God, what's going on? And the doctor appears in the hallway, and he's like, I told you had to give me something back. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I can't give a life without taking a life. And he's like, well, like, why? Like, you didn't say that. He's like, you didn't ask. Like, I told you I'd have to take something. He's like, this is ridiculous. Like, how could you take him? Like, this isn't fair. It's just as bad. And he's like, really? You said you'd do anything for Daniel? Like, Ryan is like, you know, and like sort of gives him that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck you. And he gets like all angry. And then he just disappears, and the paramedic comes in and he's like, are you all right, sir? And he's like, oh, he just like leaves. He just gets out of the room, and they like take him to the hospital. He gets to the hospital. He's back with Daniel, and he's like perfect. He's like sweating. He's so like upset, and he's just like, oh, like, I'm so glad you're here, man. But like, he like also knows like I don't know what's going on anymore. Is this a hallucination? Am I dreaming? Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I love you so much. I'm so glad to be with you. Like, I just love you. Like, thank you so, like, I'm so glad you're my son. And he was like, I love you too, Dad. This is fucking weird. What are you doing? Like, I love you. Like, thank you. Like, and he goes into the room that Ryan's in. So he's like going down the hallway and like down the elevator. It's like a lot of like eerie silence. And he walks up to Ryan, and he's just like holding it. I'm like, I'm so sorry. This was my fault. Like, we've just got so ahead of ourselves with Daniel. Like, we sort of left you, and like this is clearly a representation of that. And the doctor comes back in the doorway, and he's like, so what's your choice? And he's like, what do you mean what's my choice? He's like, so do you want Ryan or Daniel?
Oh shit.
And he's like, how could I pick between my 2 sons? Like, I love them both equally. He's like, well, you don't. Like, that's impossible. You can't love them equally. Which one do you pick? And he's like, take me. He's like, I don't want you. I want one of these boys. Like, you have to pick. And he's like,
Jesus Christ, this got dark.
like, and he just like goes off at him. He starts screaming at him, and he's like, fuck you, man. Like, fuck you. Like, what have you done to me? How could you do this? And he just disappears. And so like, it's just like left at that point. So he hasn't answered yet. And he's like going back to, he goes up to Daniel's room, and the mum and the sisters with Ryan. And Daniel's like, has that man spoken to you? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, the doctor that's not meant to be here. And he's like seen him like in his coma life is sort of what they're hinting at.
Yep.
And he's like, it's okay, Dad. I'm not even meant to be here. He's like, let Ryan like, he knows way more sort of thing. And Dad's like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, still is like, is this even real? Like, am I dreaming?
Yeah.
He's like, how can I pick you? He's like, no, it's okay, Dad. Like, that's not fair on Ryan. Like, I'm not even meant to be here anyway. It's not going to be right. Like, just pick him. And the dad like wakes up in bed. And he's like, oh, this has all just been a dream. It's fine. He's like, this is ridiculous. And then the doctor appears, at the bottom of his bed and the wife's not there. And and then he's like, you should check your phone. The doctor's saying it to the dad. And so he checks his phone and the mum's like, Brian's still bad. Like Daniel's like leap to leap. Like Daniel's saying that you know what to do. Like, you know, something weird. Like Ryan keeps telling you that you need to do the right thing or something, and he seems really upset with you. And the doctor's like, so like this is your last chance. Make your decision, or they both go.
Yikes, Rudy.
And he's like,
pick Ryan. Fuck that Daniel guy. He got sick
Really?
anyway. Yeah.
well, he goes, fuck you, you can't make any decision. And he goes to the kitchen and he pulls out a knife and he just kills himself.
Holy shit.
And he's like, you can't tell me who to take or not. You're taking me. And the devil's like, you can't do this. He's like, watch me. And he like kills himself. And as he falls to the floor, the mum, it like flashes over to the mum in the hospital. And like Ryan like wakes up. And Daniel's with the mum because he's like fine now. And like all a happy family. And they're like, and the nurse is like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Oh, so it
Shit,
worked.
This is fucked. Yeah. He's like, well, like just because the devil said he didn't want him. So like he's dead in the kitchen. And the devil's like, you arsehole, like you fucked me over, like you won. Like also like in a good job way, but also like fuck my life. Like I wanted a young child's soul. And like the family's sort of like happy and together. But the father had to die.
So, okay. Firstly, if I watched this movie in the theater, it would ruin me. I would straight up like walk out and just collapse into a I would walk into traffic. Jesus Christ. It would destroy me. Secondly, for a moment there, I'm like, okay, this is either going to be like it's literally happening, or this is all a metaphor for the dad learning to let go of the kid.
Yeah.
Because at one point he's in the dream telling him, no, it's okay, let me go.
Yeah.
But then the real ending was somehow more brutal and heart-wrenching. Because just for a second, put yourself in the shoes of the wife. The wife has... her middle son is dealing with terminal illness. And then the moment he starts to get better, the other younger son has some sort of accident and he's on the verge of death. And then 24 hours later, you find your husband... who somehow stabbed himself fatally in a kitchen. And then both of your sons make a miraculous... your other son makes a miraculous recovery in addition to the son who's already made a miraculous recovery. Like, holy shit. What an emotional roller coaster she's been on.
Yeah.
Just inject therapy straight into her veins. God damn.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
gripping.
That
Thank
was...
you.
I was like, I was picking sides.
Huh? Who did you want to die?
I was like, well, the guy that was initially sick, it seems like he's the real problem, so let's get rid of him. And then we'll keep
he was
Ryan.
more. He was like okay to go, like he was saying.
He'd
Yeah,
already
exactly.
accepted it.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like this. His sickness started all this. Like, it's not his fault, but like, you know, that's on him. So yeah,
Wow.
I'd be like, nah, Ryan can stay. He's younger.
He wasn't.
He's
sick to
lived a
begin
whole
with.
extra... He hasn't lived that extra 3 years of life.
Yeah, yeah. Like, man, the self-slaughter through knife attack is pretty brutal.
Yeah, because he's like, no, I don't take you. He's like, you take who I tell you to take.
Take it,
Oh,
bitch.
just for the listeners' validation, some word I'm forgetting. Alex initially, when she was miming out the father's suicide, had one knife and she was miming out her hand. But when we actually did the act, she used 2 knives.
Stabbed
To-
herself
Yeah.
in the throat.
Yeah,
It was double brutal.
double knife. The manliest way to die. Double knife suicide.
So yeah, Damien, good luck following that, huh?
Jeez. All right. Maybe I'll trade away my soul for a good pitch. Okay, so my deal with the devil.
I hope it's an erotic one.
Me too.
So I don't have to pull it.
It's crime.
Crime. There you go.
You saw it was written on the side. You just hope something else was written on the other side.
Yeah, because the erotica one is written on a small piece of paper. So it's like,
Yeah.
this is the right size. Maybe just hope against hope. It's like crime erotica.
Ooh.
Like,
Erotic crimes.
I'm a bad boy. Take me away in handcuffs. Deal with the devil crime. So you did
I did parody.
yeah, but you guys both did literal Satan.
I definitely did.
Yeah.
Well, you did kind of like an agent of
yeah, he was definitely
devil,
like
yeah.
a supernatural power. It wasn't like a human that was bad.
And
okay, so I think I'll go with the more metaphorical deal with the devil.
Yep.
just to mix things up. So crime is a good excuse to introduce the mafia.
There you go. That's a callback to you when you described that at the start.
Nailed it.
You haven't been thinking about that the whole time.
You were like, I'll just set that up so I can use that later.
Yeah, lucky break.
So given that this is the mafia, this is the height of Chicago's crime wars in 1930s.
Hey, this might not be a historical setting.
1920s.
I might use the Yakuza
or Ned Kelly.
Yeah, why not?
That's not modern.
No, it's not. It's historical. It's Damien.
Unless you're doing a ghost of Ned Kelly in the present.
Ned Kelly's ghost forms a crime gang.
Don't tempt me.
Ooh, that'd be a great, like, straight-to-video movie, wouldn't it? Ned Kelly's ghost forms a new crime gang. Hey, you want to write a movie?
Australian cast, like, based in Melbourne's jail.
Okay, so I think my film is going to be set...
Your film?
My film is going to be set post 9/11.
Oh, shit.
Where someone...
Yikes.
Where someone's loved one was killed in the...
terrorist attack.
They were aboard the plane that got brought down near the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's caused them to... So it was a lady, I guess, and the guy was her fiancé.
Mm-hmm.
And he has kind of remolded his life. He's kind of dropped out of college and has applied to the army, but has been rejected a couple of times because he's like kind of revenge orientated, and he's like just wants to go and like hurt the people that hurt him and stuff. And they're like, we don't want that. So he's in a bit of a tough spot where he's like, he wants to go and fight against terrorists
revenge,
and like prosecute the people that fight the war on terror, but has been rejected from the army. So what then to do?
Classic.
So Taylor's oldest time.
So what he does, coming from a Middle Eastern background and speaking Arabic in the home when he was younger background, he decides that he's actually going to kind of like train himself up a little bit and go...
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like the best of ideas.
So he's going to do lots of crunches and push-ups, and he's going to go to the gun range and do some pistol training, and then he's going to go self-funded to Afghanistan, into the hills of Afghanistan, and try and track down Al-Qaeda himself as best he can by himself, and like pretend like he wants to join them. And kind of bring down terror cells from the inside.
Yep.
So he's like, okay, well, if I'm not part of any organization, then I'm a clean print to try and go fight this war on my own terms.
Yeah.
So he does that, and he, being a native speaker, he goes to Afghanistan, and he tries to like kind of hook up with local terror cells, and he's finding some difficulty, and people don't trust him.
Because he's got like an accent of like Americanism.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, what reason do you have? And it's also very suspicious and whatever, and they're just overly cautious. So, and eventually he kind of like meets a man, like kind of a cleric who's really pious, and he finds out is actually kind of like in the local kind of crime syndicate. So despite his kind of like religious zealotry, he's actually involved in like running guns and smuggling money and laundering, and is part of the heroin market, and like he's kind of involved in like the local mafia,
the naughty boy business.
And he's like, hey, if you want some work, I can like give it to you. And he's like, okay, well, this might be an in, like maybe I'll work for these guys, and then
I'll give it to you real good.
Yeah. And
no.
And I worked for them for a bit, and like you build up a reputation and whatever. So like, yeah, this is a good opportunity for me to establish myself. So he does that, and then this kind of friend that he meets starts kind of like sponsoring him and giving him money, and like they start living the high life, and because he's really committed to his role, and he's like really handy with like firearms and whatever. So he like goes around and, like beats up debtors and whatever, and then he finds himself in a situation where he's like, yes, and now like this guy has like betrayed our organization, so like now kill him for me. And he's like, sure, I guess. And like, shoots him because he's like, oh, well, he was probably a bad guy as well. What's the harm?
It's not my like main goal, but it's getting me there.
Yeah. So he keeps kind of justifying it to himself of like, just like a little bit more, kind of more in, and I'll be like involved.
Shoot
And
the
then I
bad
can
guys.
start
That's what I was
actually
here
being a good guy, being a bad guy, not just being.
So he kind of gets
guy.
drawn into this life. So he's essentially becomes kind of like an undercover operative in the Afghanistan, kind of like organized crime kind of.
But yet to do anything to bring it down.
Yeah, and yet to kind of like contact any terrorists that have to do with 9/11. So he's like totally kind of lost on that front.
Yeah.
So he's getting a bit kind of like lost in the weeds with this mafia thing. And then he's like, oh, actually, this is like not so bad, and like gets a nice car, and
like
he's
getting
like
caught
settles
up in
in.
like the life.
Yeah. He kind of like loses track of what he's after, and he's like, oh yeah, once I've like, maybe I'll just work my way through the ranks of this crime family, and once I'm in a better position from them, then I'll make a move on the terrorists. I'll get round to it heaps.
Yeah.
But like more and more, and he like starts to like drink and use drugs with them and whatever, and this kind of like goes pretty local. So we start to see him kind of like lose his way because he's been elevated to a really high status really quickly by this kind of like friend that he's made, this kind of cleric. And then his kind of like rude awakening is a CIA operative comes and sits next to him at a bar and is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we've been watching you. We know exactly why you're here and what you've been up to and who you are. And like, we've surveilled you training because we were keeping tabs on you because you're a suspicious kind of fella.
Yeah, you applied for the army, you didn't get in.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden,
training.
yeah. So like, and here you are working for their mafia. Like, we think you're want to be a good guy, but what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm infiltrating. And they're like, no, you're just a mobster. Like, you're not infiltrating shit. You're just one of them now. And he realizes that he's maybe in a bit deep and is like, goes and sees about like, hey, you know how I said I could quit anytime I want? Well, I want to quit. I'm going to like leave and go see about my education. And he's like, and the cleric is like, oh no, you're not fucking going anywhere. And in fact, like that girlfriend you've kind of made while you've been over here, like maybe I've got her in a cage somewhere. And like, maybe if you leave, I'll just like kill her and all her family. And like, I've got them hostage, so you're not going nowhere, and you're gonna go kill these people for me. And like, oh, you think I don't know about your little CIA buddies? Like, no, you're a tool for me, and also like you're a US citizen, so you're gonna fly over to the United States and like do some jobs for me over there. And he's like, fuck, like
I feel fucked up, AA wrong.
Yeah. So I've got all this like power, and I've got like goons and money and all this wealth, and like this girlfriend now and whatever. But I'm just like so deep in with this like mafia that I don't know what to do. So he goes over to the US, and while he's back over on the stateside, he like kind of contacts the CIA and he's like, guys, you were right. I'm like totally out of my league. Like, this is like real fucked up. I've made a deal with the devil, and it's all come back to haunt me.
It's a very literal interpretation there, buddy.
Yeah,
No, I'm not hating it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Like that's what the CIA says.
Yeah.
Deal with the devil, you say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, you're gonna have to like kind of play it through. So you don't really know what the plan is, but you get the sense that there's like something up. So he goes there, and so he goes back to Afghanistan, and he's like, kind of, I did that job you wanted, and now let them go. And the cleric's like, oh no, I'm not letting them go. Like, you're working for me, and like for as long as I doubt your loyalty, they're standing here and is like, well, I'm really sad you said that, because like now it has to be like this. And you find out that the CIA have like kind of loaned him some assets, and he's using his thugs and his money and resources and the training he's got. So like he's sent agents to like liberate those people, and also like boost all the cash reserves and like the resources and drugs and stuff that he knows where they all are, because he's been like apprenticing under this like kingpin. So he's kind of like heisting him from the inside, and takes over his
Because even
empire.
though he like knew what he was and he was sort of like using him, he still gave him too much information.
Yeah. And he was too like he like learned things, and he was observant and whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like been like boosting it the whole time. He's been like conversing with this guy, and then there's kind of a gunfight, and he kills.
That was a little more alcohol than you usually put in that cup.
Jeez, Harley,
Someone's getting a little bit cranked tonight.
it's getting turned. So then there's a bit of a
Turn up for what?
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 Turned down for what? The authorities.
Yes,
Respectful
officer.
nod.
So there's a gunfight, and he kills the kingpin.
Oh shit!
And it's essentially kind of like a coup, and he's like, "I'm in charge now."
Did it go bang,
Bang,
bang?
bangity bang, and a bang, 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 and a bang and a bang. Yep. Just
Shoot
like
him
that.
in the head. Now he's dead. I can't actually remember how that.
So
one
he
goes.
sees all the drugs and the assets, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in charge now. I'm the kingpin."
Look
And-
at me. Look at me.
And the CIA, he goes to the CIA. He's like, "Now you got to get me out of here." And the CIA is like, "Oh no. Like you're perfect where you are.
You work
Yeah.
for us
Like
now.
yeah,
You're running
like,
this
You're
for
you're the
us.
kingpin of this crime organization. Like you're perfectly situated to like help our agenda now. Like you know."
Yeah, we saved your life.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we've loaned you all these
Help us.
assets or whatever. Like you're staying exactly where you are, buddy,
Yeah.
and now you work for
Devil
us.
times devil.
Yeah. So now he's like, "Fuck! I've just made more deals with yet more devils. Will I ever learn about deal making?" So like now he's like the head of a crime empire, but he's just like in further people's pockets, and he's just like kind of essentially become everything he hates, and yeah, he's kind of like trapped in this situation, and then it kind of like
Classic miscommunication.
yeah, and then the CIA officer who's been working with him is just like, "Yep, looks like everything worked out for the best. Good old Uncle Sam gets his way again.
The good guys win.
Yeah, like,
America.
yeah." Like that's one more step towards like
Freedom, and
dismantling
truth
the
and
blah 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 blah.
democracy in the wherever.
Yeah, fucking Eagles,
Oil,
Patriot
whatever.
missiles, etc.
Don't tell me how to think.
Yeah, and then we wrap things up. So
Yep.
he's like, he's kind of came out on top, but also kind of is just in another.
Mostly not though. For sure, the devil won on that one.
Yeah.
Wait, did the devil or did the person win in yours?
The devil won, but the devil was
the
the
devil
person.
was the main character.
Okay,
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
was a weird one because it was a parody.
but like the other person, like
The other person was Jesus. Jesus lost,
Oh,
but
yeah,
Jesus was
yeah,
the bad
duh.
guy in the story.
Because in
probably.
mine, I feel like the devil got what he wanted.
Nobody
but not really.
won.
Yeah, no one really won. in
Well, he
mine.
kind of didn't win though.
The devil did. Yeah, I feel like the devil didn't.
The
get what he
devil
wanted.
got-
The devil wanted a child's soul, and he didn't get.
Which
it.
the other great thing about yours that's hilarious in hindsight is I think it happened because the devil was impatient. Because
Yeah.
if the devil waited, he was
would've
probably
got
going to get
the
the
other
kid's soul
son.
anyway.
Yeah, but like, what if the devil got it? It would have just gone to heaven.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
true.
maybe that's not how souls work. Yeah.
Because the kid hadn't done necessarily anything wrong to go to heaven. To heaven.
Anyway, that's my deal with the devil
But did
crime.
the devil? The devil won in yours as well. So the devil's the winner.
One of the
Right?
devil won.
Well, the main devil of the film lost, but then like
Who's the main devil? That kid. I
The-
wouldn't see him as the devil. I just see him
the
as
mafia,
No,
the mafia
the mafia guy.
cleric
Oh,
guy
yeah, yeah.
was like the devil. But then the CIA was also like, "Hey, having trouble? Why not make more deals?" And so then like that devil.
Now,
won
Damien, I want to
as
pull you
well.
up on something. The trope says deal with the devil, not deals with the devils.
Deals with
Oh,
various
so-
devils.
I liked it.
No, I liked it. It is. I liked it because it painted a very complex picture of the global morality.
Classic miscommunication. Is what I took from
I
it.
like. I didn't want to
Yeah.
say in case that's where you were going, but I was in my head. I was like, look at this CIA guy fucking it up for this guy by exposing him.
Yeah,
But
You're
no-
exposed, sir.
The CIA running a double hustle the whole time.
yeah. I
What are
don't.
you doing? Like, well, I'm about to die now. Seems you like showed up. Very clear we know each other.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think I did it right. with
came
that.
along nicely.
Yeah.
Just a quick heads up that the outro contains spoilers for season 2 of Alex Gabbett's Case Notes. Well, that's been a Synopsis surprise.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised we all did so well for how drunk we are.
Yeah, that's especially surprising.
Yeah, maybe we should get drunk every time.
Like,
Yeah.
drunk enough to stop halfway for quarter pounders.
Shh, we're vegetarians.
Yeah, no, that was just a joke.
I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not fucking scared of him.
What is that from?
It's from a song. He's like, when your boyfriend says he's got beef, we'll tell him I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not fucking scared of him. It's like 303
303.
exclamation mark. Yeah,
Yeah.
303.
Yeah,
303H3 is what I
Oh,
always
yeah,
saw.
yeah. They were popular
30H3.
for a little while in the late 2000s.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the only. I don't even remember what the rest of that song is. I remember that line because I'm like, love that.
Yeah.
Make that a meme.
Tattoo it on my enemy's face.
Tattoo it on my own butt.
Follow Waterfall Stories on Facebook. Subscribe on
Do it, you
YouTube.
little bitch.
Subscribe. Follow Surprise Synopses on Twitter at At Twitter
at Surprise Synopses.
Thank you. Goddamn.
Find my Instagram. Balk, balk.
Case notes. We're human.
If you dare.
Stuff Alex's face's case notes. What do you need him for? It's already over. You should have already listened to it all if you were a good person who watched that season.
Yeah, the killer's already
episode.
been revealed. Who could
Yeah.
it be? Ooh.
Definitely, it's not me because I get killed. Apparently, I wasn't even told. Maybe I wouldn't have taken that character up if I knew I was going to get
Yeah,
murdered.
killed off screen. Oh,
Yeah,
nobody.
wasn't even aware. All I did was have one sassy conversation with you, and boom, dead. Wait,
Am I going to have to put a spoilers tag on this outro now?
I mean, like, no, but
'Cause
also
that's
yes.
editing work.
Who's gonna be listening?
Listeners?
Spoilers.
I mean,
by
to
the way.
your podcast, not this one.
Rude.
More people subscribe to that than to this.
Yeah, it was been out for longer. What about proportionally? Sorry, which one's on Spotify?
Both of them.
Only because ours started, so they took yours too.
No, because when
Damien, tell
I
'em.
started Case Notes, Spotify didn't have open submissions.
Harley
when I
could say
started this
literally
one.
anything about
It
this.
did. So when I submitted this one, I also submitted Case Notes.
Damien, tell him. Ours carried him.
Ours is better.
Yes.
It's got more hosts.
Yeah. Hostess with the mostest, baby.
The other
Most
one's got
hosts.
more words.
Yeah, words don't equal interest. Ha-ha's equal interest.
Yeah, Harley.
Country road, taking me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain highway. Surprise synopsis, taking me home.
Surprise Synopsis.
Surprise Synopses, that's the show.
We're out.
I'm going to say goodbye at that step. I forget.